There's no better time than right now to become an NBA player. Guys are making more money than ever before, with the salary cap higher than ever. 10 total players from this season alone are making over 30 million. Where Mike Conley is the only one on the list that has never made an all-star team. With the Supermax in effect, Stephen Curry will become the first player in history to earn over 40 mil next season. Many of you might not know, the highest paid player on each team are not exactly the best players. Surprisingly, there are plenty of role players you don't expect to be the highest paid guys on their teams. Some are not even top 4 players on their roster. Let's start in alphabetical order, first with the Atlanta Hawks. One of the worst teams in the NBA, Ken Bazemore gets paid the highest at over 18 million this season. The team simply don't have much talent. Baze is in the 3rd year of his 4-year $70 million deal he signed in the summer of 2016. Is just a decent role player. Rookie Trae Young's arguably the best player on the team right now, followed by Taurean Prince, both on their rookie scale. Jeremy Lin's the second highest paid on that team at over 13 mil. Number 3, Miles Plumlee, making 12.5 mil. Next up, the Boston Celtics. Gordon Hayward's making over 31 million. After the devastating ankle injury, Hayward signed a 4-year $128 million max contract, still trying to get his rhythm back and slowly making progress. He's the 2nd or 3rd best player on the team when fully healthy. Al Horford makes the 2nd most, just over 28 mil. Kyrie Irving 20 mil. For the Brooklyn Nets, Allen Crabbe makes 18.5 mil this season, where the team offered him 4 years $75 million in the summer of 2016. Portland ended up matching it, eventually traded him to the team that wanted him first. Comes off the bench, has been struggling this season, averaging less than 7 points a game. DeMarre Carroll and Kenneth Faried are the other two who makes over 8 figures this season. I would say Caris LeVert, D'Angelo Russell, Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, and Jared Allen are all better than Crabbe right now. That's 5 players on the team better than him. The Charlotte Hornets gave Nicolas Batum a fat contract 2 seasons ago, worth 5-year $120. One of the worst signings in franchise history. Batum's making 24 million this season, arguably the 2nd best player on his team. It's a travesty when Kemba Walker's the best player by a mile, and 5 players on his roster makes more than him. Bismack Biyombo is 2nd, making 17 mil this season. So much for averaging 2.5 points a game. Marvin Williams, Cody Zeller, and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist are the other 3 making more than Kemba right now, who's only making 12 mil. Thankfully, he'll be a free agent after this season. The Chicago Bulls' Jabari Parker for now making 20 million, signed a 2-year $40 this past offseason, a low-risk, high-reward situation, still looking to get his game back to full strength. Zach LaVine makes half a mil less than Jabari right now, recently signed a 4-year $78, currently the best player on his team. Cleveland Cavaliers' Kevin Love making over 24.1 mil, the only good player on the team who will be out for at least another month. George Hill's number 2 making 19 mil. Dallas Mavericks, Harrison Barnes also makes over 24.1 mil, signed a fat 4-year contract deal over 94 million after leaving Golden State. A solid small forward who's nothing more than an above average role player. Both DeAndre Jordan and Luka Doncic are better. Jordan's making over 22 mil, while Luka as a rookie is arguably already the best player on his team. Denver Nuggets, Paul Millsap, making 29.2 million. Still a solid player, putting up 12 and 7, but he's only the 4th best player on his team. Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Gary Harris are all better players right now. Detroit Pistons, Blake Griffin, who I would say is the best player on the team, making $32 million. I'm sure the Clippers were very happy to have traded him to the Motor City, where Detroit's desperately trying to be relevant. Andre Drummond's number 2, making $25 million this season. Golden State, Stephen Curry, who's currently the highest paid player right now in the NBA, earning $37.4 million, and deservingly so. Although he's the most important player on the Warriors, Kevin Durant's the best player on the team, making exactly $30 million this season. No one else on the team makes more than 20 mil. Houston Rockets' Chris Paul, after signing that 4-year Supermax, making $35.6 million on the season compared to Harden's $30.4 mil, a decision Houston might regret down the road with CP3 turning 34 in May. Indiana Pacers, Victor Oladipo. Not a surprise here, the most improved player is making $21 million on the season, made a huge name for himself and is earning every bit of his money. LA Clippers, Danilo Gallinari. The 33-year-old small forward is making slightly over $21.5 million on the second year of his third-year $65 million contract. He's arguably the second or third best player on the team, slightly behind Tobias Harris, who's making just under $15 million. LA Lakers, LeBron James, $35.6 million, $23 million more than his second highest paid teammate, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and rightfully so. Memphis Grizzlies, Mike Conley, earning $30.5 million. Conley and Gasol are pretty much 1A and 1B on Memphis. None of them are that much better than each other. Right now, I'll go with Conley as the better player. Gasol and Chandler Parsons both make over $24 million on the season. Miami Heat, just a heads up, Chris Bosh, whose salary does not count against the cap since he's medically retired, hasn't played a game since the 2015-16 season before being waived by the team, where the Heat owed him his remaining $52.1 million. If it wasn't for his unfortunate situation, CB would have been making $26.8 million this season. On the active roster right now, it's Hassan Whiteside, making $25.4 million. But at this moment, Josh Richardson's the best player on the team who's having a breakout season. I would say Whiteside's the second best. Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo, $24.1 million. As the Greek Freak continues to get better and better, he has a chance to become the first player possibly making over $50 million per season sometime in the next decade. Minnesota Timberwolves, sadly, Andrew Wiggins, making over $25.4 million, has not improved since his rookie season. Thankfully, Karl Towns will be making just as much as him next season. After signing his extension this past September, Jeff Teague's currently second on the team, making $19 million. New Orleans Pelicans, Jrue Holiday, who's the second best player on his team, making $25.9 million, half a mil more than AD this season, who's at $25.4 million. Next season, Davis will make a little more. New York Knicks, Enes Kanter, $18.6 million. Once KP gets his contract extension, he'll certainly make the most on the Knicks. Kanter's the third best player on the team behind Kristaps and Tim Hardaway Jr. Oklahoma City, Russell Westbrook, $35.6 million. Paul George second on the team, making $30.5 million. You bet the team's happy they got rid of Melo's fat contract. Orlando Magic, Aaron Gordon, $21.5 million. Recently signed his 4-year $76. He's the best player on an awful team that will continue to be awful for quite some time. Not to mention the third highest paid guy on the team, Timothy Mozgov. Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid, $25.4 million, earning every bit of it right now, looking like the best big man in the NBA and a potential top 5 player if he can stay healthy. Phoenix Suns, yes, Ryan Anderson, $20.4 million. That's why the Rockets wanted to get rid of his contract. Anderson, who barely plays, is averaging less than 5 points a game. Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Trevor Ariza, and TJ Warren are all better than him right now, making Anderson the 5th best player on the team. Portland Trail Blazers, Damian Lillard, $27.9 million. No question he's the best player in Sin City right now. Sacramento Kings, Zach Randolph, $11.6 million. Only him and Iman Shumpert are making over 8 figures for the Kings this season. The 37-year-old power forward is one of the oldest players in the NBA. Will be a free agent next season. 11 players on the team are 25 and under. De'Aaron Fox, Willie Cauley-Stein, Buddy Hield, and Marvin Bagley are all better than Zebo right now. San Antonio Spurs, DeMar DeRozan, $27.7 million. Aldridge at number 2, making over $22 million. DeRozan, I would say, is slightly better than LaMarcus right now. Toronto Raptors, Kyle Lowry, $31.2 million, $8 million more than Kawhi Leonard, who's on a player option next season, can decline and become a free agent. Serge Ibaka is third on the team, making $21.6 million, but playing well so far, averaging 17 and 8. Utah Jazz, Rudy Gobert, $23.2 million, well deserved. It's very hard to decide who's currently the best player on the Jazz. Gobert and Mitchell are literally 1A and 1B, both heavily impact the team. I believe Mitchell will be better long term, but right now, I'll give the slight edge to Gobert. Washington Wizards, Otto Porter, who's having a nightmare season, making over $26 million, more than Beal and Wall right now. The Wizards are looking like they will regret giving him the max. The team has been a disaster early on. Of the 30 teams in the National Basketball Association, 19 of the highest paid player on their teams are not even the best player. Who would have ever thought average role players like Ken Bazemore, Ryan Anderson, Allen Crabbe, and Otto Porter would be the highest paid player on their teams? It just goes to show when you have one good season or perform well in one playoff series like Bismack Biyombo, you can end up making the most money on your team. Thank you so much for watching this video. I talk NBA comparisons, amazing storylines, NBA history, and all sorts of interesting topics that you might enjoy. Stay tuned. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. More great stuff coming soon. See you next time.